This is the less emotional take 3 of an incident that happened in the current year. There's a black guy, white t-shirt, running down the street. He's done run into the neighborhood again, was one caller. Only one burglary or anything else anybody could find had been reported in that area concerning anyone in the area. And coincidentally, it was a report by a former police officer, Greg Johns McMichael, and or his son, Travis James McMichael, a month earlier or something like that. What is it, 20 days? You'll have to look at the listing. They asserted that there had, on the day this, however, that this much more extreme incident had happened, they asserted that there had been several break-ins in the neighborhood. There aren't any reported ones. The assumed suspect was caught on surveillance video, but they don't know the exact time that their burglary happened that they reported, because they didn't record that information. I'll get to that in a minute. They previously saw the assumed suspect stick his hand down his pants at one point, was the assertion that one of them made. A report was filed about a 10 p.m. January 1st Smith Wesson M&P 9mm being stolen from their unlocked 2011 Ford F-150. So this is the basis for them asserting later they didn't know if this male was armed or not, that they claimed to match the description or video, but there is no video apparently, because I can assume that, of their F-150 being broken into. So they would have an exact time. It's presumed it was about 10 p.m. between such and such and such and such. So there's a missing pistol. It involved the truck. It involved them. It was X number of weeks earlier. Okay. So on the day, on the February 23rd at about 1 p.m., I'm assuming it's 1 p.m. because it says 1,300 hours on the report and on the data, but I don't know if that's actually 1 p.m. Greg saw their assumed suspect in the front yard, from his front yard, saying he was hauling ass down Satilla Drive towards Burford Drive. Greg told Travis that the assumed suspect is running down the street. Let's go. And or told him to go get a gun. Greg anyway said he went and got out of his bedroom a magnum, and Travis grabbed his shotgun because they didn't know if the male was armed or not. See also the down the pants assertion, the missing gun, and the presumption that this random person is absolutely got to be the guy. He's done running to the neighborhood again, was someone else's statement, not theirs. Both got in the truck and drove down Satilla Drive towards Burford. Saw the assumed suspect running down Burford Drive. Travis drove down Burford and attempted to cut off the assumed suspect. Assumed suspect turned around and began running back the direction from which he had came, trying to get away from them. At this point, I should mention that they claimed they were doing a citizen's arrest while armed with a presumably Magnum 357, let's say, and a presumed 12-gauge shotgun, because that would be the presumption that most people make, but we don't know. So they attempted to block the assumed suspect. Michael jumped into the bed of the truck with his Magnum. They both continued to Holmes Road, or Drive, in an attempt to intercept him. They saw the assumed suspect and shouted, "Stop, we're here to talk to you." Well, at this point, it is presumed that this individual who's doubled back and trying to evade them, not running as fast as he's capable of, maybe just wondering what's going on with them, maybe saw the shotgun and pistol and gave them the benefit of the doubt in this somewhat upscale looking neighborhood with this pickup truck with two guys yelling, "Stop, we want to talk to you." A pro tip, even if someone claims that they're doing a citizen's arrest, unless they yell, "We're doing a citizen's arrest," or even then, there is no presumption that you have to stop for them. This isn't evading arrest. If anybody brings that up, you're wrong and the comment will be deleted. A pro tip, if a cop tells you to stop, fine. Why are you approaching me? Just hold still. explain yourself. I'll presume you're not a police officer, and a person dressed as a police officer will be treated appropriately. You will tell me why you're doing this. Not, I'm asking, you will. Don't shoot me. If you're a police officer, you might understand why a person with my history, some of you know about on my channel, might literally be able to tell you, don't you dare fucking shoot me while doing this. I'm going to chill in a minute here. He began running away. They stopped him. Stop, we want to talk to you. They pulled up beside the male and shouted stop again, etc. We don't have a lot of this from the video. I'm going to get to the information on that. Travis exited the truck with a shotgun and ran towards this assumed suspect. This is their set of assertions at this point. Now this young man, who apparently was a athlete at one point, before this day he was anyway, who had been able to outrun people who were also athletes and young, now had a closing distance less than the magic 21 feet, obviously. The assumed suspect began to, and this is the quote, violently attack Travis while Travis has come out of a pickup truck with a shotgun, yelling, stop, we want to talk to you, and then coming out with a shotgun. A black guy in a neighborhood, upscale neighborhood, with two white guys in a pickup truck in Georgia. I want you to think very slowly about what you immediately think. Running through an upscale neighborhood, you shouldn't have to worry about this kind of stuff. Of course, apparently, again, what was it again? He's done running the neighborhood again. A black guy in a white t-shirt. Interesting neighborhood perspective. No reported incidents for the entire year, but somebody running through your neighborhood on the left side of the road towards traffic, the way you're supposed to if there's no real space for riding a bike or jogging or running. Not running at full speed that he's capable of. But how would they know that? Not relevant. Let's go on. Violently attacking an armed shotgun-carrying guy who gets out of a pickup truck. Pro tip, at least we can say for a fact they weren't playing banjo music and making pig squealing noises. They look more out of place than the jog. Let's go on. Travis fired a shot and then a second shot later. The recording may differ. At 8 minutes after the hour, they reported the shooting as he was down. 1:08 p.m. and 24 seconds, 2020, February 23rd. At 46 minutes after the hour, an official declared Ahmaud Arbery dead at the scene at 419 Holmes Road, Brunswick, Georgia, 500 feet from the house that McMichaels had driven from and claimed something had happened. So they caught up to this former all-star linebacker at Brunswick High School that's supposed to be able to run 300 feet to be able to win a game, and did that kind of run repeatedly in 10-yard jumps. And if you look at it from street view, it doesn't look like there's much difficulty in him running through trees or running through a backyard trying to get away from them. He wasn't presuming that he was being followed or chased by armed individuals. He was not presuming that he needed to run from anybody. And as soon as he saw them, he may not have noticed the weapons, but them trying to cut him off, he still gave them the benefit of the doubt and didn't run for his fucking life. I'm controlling myself as best as I can. Let's continue. The video starts recording near 404 Holmes Road, and after 3 shots are heard in the recording clearly, and I'm going to state this for a fact, they're identical shots. The video ends 530 feet away, because that's the distance he went on that road, near 419 Holmes Road itself. You can see where the young man fell to the ground. The 2 individuals who were pursuing him, one of them was in his 50s or 60s, the other one was in his 30s. And this guy is in his 20s that died. The report vaguely mentions a trespassing incident that day, but it amounted to someone saying someone was in an area where there was a construction site and walked away. Look at the area and see that there isn't any fences. I mean, maybe was it a fenced-in yard? That wasn't mentioned. And when they said, is this trespassing? No, he's leaving. Okay, we'll send police in the area. Police were on their way. But then again, these two guys didn't know about it. One of them was a former cop and is doing a citizen's arrest while armed with a presumably .357 Magnum, and his son is carrying a shotgun and driving after somebody who's not running at max speed at all. But you can decide he is. You can count the number of steps per minute. The report vaguely mentions an auto theft incident approximately 20 days before, but obviously we now have the information. It involves the individuals who are claimed to have done a citizen's arrest. Was there an imminent threat or a recent theft or criminal trespass or criminal action that would justify deadly force being presumed to be needed? Again, the presumption they're giving is because this guy looks like somebody they saw or say they saw on some recording somewhere, and they were missing a 9mm, that maybe he was the same guy and was still carrying a 9mm while running through the neighborhood low speed. Was he an imminent threat? No, not at all. Did he respond to an imminent threat? Yes. Did he respond too late? Yes. I'm presuming they weren't really brandishing their guns in the vehicle. I hope they weren't. But once the gun appeared, he was too close. I'm going to give some advice on what to do under these conditions. You don't have to take it and you don't have to value it. I want the police in the area to tell you the same thing I'm going to tell you too. Was he really the assumed suspect? Black male, white t-shirt, wrong neighborhood? You decide. Was he really an imminent threat at all? No, I've already told you he isn't. Was he shot at 2 times or 3 times, or just shot 2 times? Did they fail to mention the shots? A former cop didn't tell you number of shots fired. Fuck no. That's 1 point against the old man. Immediately, did you say it was 2 shots or 3? Did you count your shots or his shots? How long were you a fucking cop? Did you immediately hit record on your cell phone? There's a presumption that he recorded. It's even mentioned somewhere, but I can't get it off the thing, off of the report, which you can view below. It's a PDF. Did they mistake the number of shots? No. A call that day specified a crime Arbery might have committed that was witnessed. Again, the recording was that there's a guy in the area. If you're pursued by somebody and you are a person who doesn't belong in the neighborhood, because that's the presumption in our society, and if you don't immediately do a diagonal run between trees and get the fuck away from them, what will happen? Maybe this. 9 times out of 10, this doesn't happen, even in Georgia. If you run from someone because they're an imminent threat, it will be presumed that you're running because you're guilty of something. The law states factually, unless you are absolutely sure of an imminent threat. No, it just says you have to say you feared for your life and you can get away with killing anybody. Citizen's arrest has to be based on legal requirements that you are able to state without any equivocation that you have witnessed a crime. You have a higher standard. You can't just go around and arrest somebody because they look like they might be the suspect. You call the police and let them fucking do it. You assume that the person has the right to escape because they have the right to something important. The right to be presumed innocent. None of that happened that day. This is a former cop who doesn't know how to count shots and doesn't know the basics of this and doesn't know he's in a very much lower level of believability by not being a cop currently. And his son is the one who did this. He's never been a cop. Apparently. Randomly chasing somebody because they vaguely match a description from almost a month before with a gun. That's not reasonable. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.